Hi everyone, I'm Chef Susie with Escoffier Online. Welcome to our live session this morning. Today we're going to be making Swiss buttercream, which the Swiss buttercream lends its name to the Swiss meringue, which is the base for the buttercream. We're going to be making a meringue, we're going to be adding some butter, a little bit of vanilla, then the buttercream is going to be ready to go. What's nice about this buttercream is it's light, it's creamy, it's very rich, and it's not quite as sweet as some of the other buttercreams that you may have been using so far. So knowing all that, let's get started. So we're going to need a meringue base. So over here on the stove, I've got my egg whites and my sugar started. What you're going to do is you're just going to be warming these over the double boiler, and this is going to help the sugar dissolve. You're going to be using the superfine caster sugar like you're using in a lot of your assignments, and we're going to warm this to about 120 degrees. Then it's going to go in the mixer and it's going to get whipped. So let's go ahead and temperature this and see how we're doing. And please let me know if you have any questions. Okay, well, we're just about there. We're just about at 120. What we're going to be doing is whipping this to a nice firm peak, and then we're going to be adding our room temperature butter, which is nice and soft. Okay, let's go ahead and temperature this again. Okay, perfect. Right at 120. So let's go ahead and put this in the mixer. Be mindful when you're making meringues, when you're whipping your egg whites, make sure all of your bowls, utensils, anything that's coming in contact with this meringue, make sure that it's very dry and very clean, and especially free of grease, because that could hinder the whipping. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put this on our mixer. And please let me know if you have any questions on anything. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start that up. Okay. Like I said, we're going to be whipping this to a nice stiff peak. Cooling off a little bit while it's whipping. Then we're going to be adding our butter. So what's nice about this Swiss buttercream, like I said, it's light and creamy, it's rich, it's not quite as sweet as the American or the traditional buttercream that we've been making so far a lot in the program. It's one of your first assignments. That buttercream is made by just mixing some powdered sugar with your butter. You're going to be adding a little bit of cream and vanilla. So it's quite sweet and it's not quite as airy. You're going to be getting a lot of air in this buttercream with the meringue. And it's going to give you a smoother texture on your cakes and with your piping too. So be mindful to go ahead and try this, because you'll really like it a lot, and it's a little bit different than what you're using. It's super simple, just warming your egg whites like I showed you with your sugar, and then you're going to be adding your butter. So it's nothing that's complicated at all. So our egg whites are looking really good. Keep in mind too, if you ever have a little bit of trouble with your egg whites whipping for you for some reason, make sure you wait it out, see if they're going to come up for you, and if they're just not whipping, you can go ahead and add something that's a little acidic. Maybe in this case you might want to add a little bit of lemon juice, because it's going to add a flavor to this as well. Or you can add a little bit of cream of tartar. It's a little trick to help boost those egg whites, but we're not needing anything. These are really whipping up great, and we're going to be adding our butter in just a minute. So please let me know if you have any questions. At the end, we're going to be putting in some clear vanilla, and like anything else, the flavors are limitless. You could make this orange, you can make it coconut, you can make it rum flavor, you could even make it a peppermint flavor, and like any other buttercream, you can color it as well. Okay, so our meringue is looking super great. Gonna let it get a little bit thicker. Like I said, wait it out. If it's not thickening for you, add a little something acidic. That'll help it a lot. So this is looking good. I'm gonna be picking up my butter, so I'm putting on my gloves. And it looks great so far. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to be turning this on a low temperature, and we're going to be adding this room temperature butter a little bit at a time. With this buttercream, it may have a broken appearance at times after adding your butter, but what you can do is keep whipping it and it will come together for you. Just don't add your butter too quickly. Make sure it's at room temperature. And please let me know if you have any questions. So it's looking great. Perfect so far. Be careful, don't get those egg whites too warm because that's going to melt this butter too. And like I said, if it for some reason ever appears to be broken, you can definitely whip this back together. This stores great in the refrigerator or the freezer. What you're going to want to do is once you refrigerate it or freeze it, you're going to let it thaw in the refrigerator overnight, or if you had it in the refrigerator, you're going to kind of bring it up to room temperature and you can re-whip it a little bit too. So, looking good. And please let me know if you have any questions. This is a real good meringue buttercream recipe to start with if you've never done these before. There's a few different types. This is the simplest one. As you can see, it's very easy. It didn't take long at all to do this. So I definitely recommend starting with this buttercream if you're going to be exploring meringue type buttercreams. Okay, so looking good. We're going to go ahead and turn this up a little bit higher. We're going to whip these butter pieces in. Then we're going to go ahead and add our vanilla. I've got some clear vanilla. You're going to want to use this instead of the brown vanilla if you have it. If not, it's okay to use your brown vanilla. See, our buttercream is kind of changing shape a little bit. It was a little loose and meringue looking, and now it's getting thicker. You can see the butter in it, and we're just going to be whipping this until it's nice and smooth. So it's just going to take a little bit here. It's going to come together nicely. I'm going to go ahead and add my vanilla, and then we'll keep whipping. Okay, it's looking great. It's getting lighter in color, ready. That's another way that you can tell if your buttercream is done, if it's well aerated, if it's lighter in color, no matter what buttercream you're making, if it's the traditional buttercream or this meringue buttercream. You're going to look for the lightness in color. That means it's well aerated. That means it's going to be light and creamy. It's going to melt in your mouth, and it's going to be easy and smooth to pipe. We're going to go ahead and turn this up a little bit to help it. And please let me know if you have any questions on buttercreams or meringues too. Oftentimes for your meringues, which you're using in your buttercreams, you're going to want to use a pasteurized egg white product. You can find that in the refrigerator section of your grocery store. It comes in containers. It usually comes in a 2-cup container or a half-quart container or a quart container. So definitely use your pasteurized egg whites. So this way you're going to know that they are safe. They've been pasteurized already. Okay, so our buttercream is looking delicious. I'm going to let it whip a little bit more. And I'm waiting for any questions if you have them. I wanted to mention too, this buttercream, I typically don't use this for a base for my fondant cakes. For my fondant cakes, I'm going to stick with that traditional buttercream that you make with your butter and powdered sugar. The reason being is I have found that the liquid in this Swiss buttercream, it kind of seems to come out a little bit, and it makes my fondant a little glossy, and it's not something that I'm looking for. So definitely stick with traditional buttercreams for that base for the fondant cake. And these are great for icing cakes and for decorating. You're going to see the smooth appearance is so nice, and you're going to like it a lot. Go ahead and turn this up a little bit more, kind of help it out a little bit. A nice light color. It's looking very smooth and creamy. Okay. So here we have it. This is our Swiss buttercream. Super nice. It's light. It's creamy. It's going to melt in your mouth. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. We'll pipe some of this buttercream real quick. And please let me know if you have any questions on the buttercream. Okay. This is going to be easy to pipe. Just going to do some piping on the plate, and you can see how smooth this is. Okay, so let's just go ahead and take a look at some shell piping. And as you can see, this buttercream is nice and smooth. It's really easy to pipe. You'll love working with it. It's very easy to work with. Be careful in hotter kitchens with this. Be mindful of that. And I've got some cupcakes that I made earlier, so let's go ahead and put this on a few of our cupcakes. So this is great for decorating. You'll be sure to love it. Make sure you try it and let me know how you like the Swiss buttercream. So we're getting ready to wrap up. So if you have any questions, be sure to let me know. Otherwise, I'll be seeing you next week. Let's sprinkle a little sugar on our cupcakes. Okay, and there we go. That's our Swiss buttercream for today. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.